And we are live here, and thank you guys for tuning into this episode here. It's gonna be awesome. So, obviously, we have a female here, right? So this is gonna get very intense. But mainly, I wanted to sit with Christeen here because I've known her. Look at you all postured up.
I know.
No.
Since we were kids.
Yeah, and I've seen you grow up, and it's super cool. So with their family, I've been around them practically my whole life. Since 6th, 7th grade?
I was gonna say since you're probably like 10.
Yeah, like that.
8-ish.
So we will kind of go into how I was kind of brought up, but this is all about her and about what she thinks. I have these pieces of paper here so I can kind of keep track, because what she can share with everybody, and especially myself, I'm like, oh, I didn't know that, So practically, I'm just trying to help you guys out there. Her being her, she's got drive, right? And I've had, I got a lot of people that want to know how she thinks about certain things, and her being a mom, it's huge, because again, I can't speak about having a kid, and for you to have it how you've had it, about who it was with, and all that, kind of how it unfolded, which we will go into, is just awesome. So yeah, I just want to kind of start with that, and then just kind of go over, who you are. I don't want to go into it too deep. I'm not trying to be like, oh, that was a secret. That was supposed to be a secret. Like, I don't got time for that. But if you want to hop into it to help them out, whoever.
Life is about experiences, and we all have different ones. So, I think everybody can relate in different ways, even if you have different experiences, just in feelings and, different situations. So it'll be fun to get into.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
No, this is awesome. So, okay, to start out, she rents an apartment. I won't kind of tell you how much she makes. That's not for me to decide. That's for her. That's all on you. If you want to be like, no, I'm good. We're doing good. You're trying to buy a house. Okay. Anyways, cool. Awesome. As we were younger, I wasn't around you too much and all your friends and all that kind of stuff. I was more around
brothers.
Yeah, brothers.
Yeah.
Which we will hop into how you kind of seen you being around them, and your
having two brothers and being the only girl. Like, if you want to just start there, we can.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Just in general, growing up. My parents are very open people. They, we had the house where all the friends came over all the time. Our house is your house. That's how I was raised, and that's how I live my life, even still to this day. And my family is exactly the same way. Both my brothers are the same way. Pretty much everybody we were raised around has that kind of perspective and just warmness to them. So yeah, growing up with brothers was what you would imagine it would be. It was definitely rough, but not in any abnormal way, just typical kids, I think it made me stronger. There's things that I enjoyed, kind of being a tomboy, I guess you could say, because I feel like I'm pretty girly, but at the same time, I can do anything a guy can do, and I think just being raised in that environment and situation helped me thrive in future experiences. So I view it as such a positive upbringing in that sense. And yeah, I loved it. I love having a million people around. That's just kind of that makes me happy, and that's I'm still the same way. I love entertaining, love having a ton of people around, because it feels like home to me, no matter where you're at.
Yeah.
So it was definitely a good thing.
Yeah. And Yeah, for sure. Yeah, having them around is super important. You know, they you got one brother that's around right now, but one's out of state, but he's in like they get every other week or every week or so like that.
Yeah, very close. I'm super close with both my brothers still to this day. Like they're, you know, I think you go through different life experiences of your childhood together, which also makes you stronger. And we're probably more on the like exception side to where we have a very close relationship still. We've always maintained like a high respect for each other, and you know, like I meet people who have siblings and they don't talk to them, or like, you know, certain things happen where they treat each other a certain way, and like to me that would never cross my mind. Like we're always trying to help each other through like anything and everything, and you know that's why we're so close and we spend so much time together even to this day, not only for our like kids to grow up together, but like we truly enjoy being in each other's presence, you know. I remember even after I moved out and I had my own place, my little brother lived with me, and then my older brother moved in with us, and it was like the best time of my life. Like I loved it because, you know, like I'm the type of person who likes to like take care of people and like, you know, feed them and bake for them.
As you can see.
And, you know, just make everybody feel welcome. Like I have like an old soul. I have like that grandmother mentality of like how you would picture going to your grandma's house would be like. So having my brothers and I live together, it was really cool. Like, and such a great experience that most people don't get to experience if you're not on that level with your siblings. But for me, it was like, wow, like our childhood continues, and like you guys are my best friends. Like we get to live together, and like, you know, we have the same childhood, so we have so much like respect for each other and like things that we went through together, you know. So it was cool. Definitely a great thing.
Yeah, and for sure they are awesome people, you know. And at the same time, you know, you could be with a group of people, either family or whoever, or say like you're a sister to me, you know. So with that, you know, me not being in their actual
born into like our family, but
at the same time, I kind of was,
from my perspective, like it was like growing up with another brother. Like definitely there's, you know, like even in adulthood we have all the same friends, you know, like and it's a lot of my brother's friends, like a couple, you know, core people that I view as my brothers as well, and have known them since, you know, forever. I was 8 years old, 7 years old, whatever it was when we moved there. But like definitely it's like an expansion of the family, and I think that's just how we are as people too. Like when you're family, you're family. It doesn't matter how you came into our life, but like, you know, you lived with us, like that's family, you know, like
we will hop into that. It's very, very interesting. So like me being around them was awesome, because at my house where I lived, I had a few houses where I kind of hopped around. I would be like around them because mom and dad, and you had, you know, sister and brothers and all were all in one. And of course, you know, kind of butt heads sometimes. Oh, this is fun, you know, which it's fine.
Pranks, whatever.
Yeah, all that pranks,
kids being kids.
So yeah, like with that, I'm sure there's a lot of people like me out there who aren't trying to be home because you have extra stuff going on at home. I'm not trying to get into details unless you want me to. We will save that for later. But actually, here's the story. So
I would request it if I was you guys, because I would personally enjoy hearing like your perspective on, you know, we don't have to go into it right now, but I think it would be great to, you know, for everybody to like just hear different life experiences, and maybe somebody's experiencing the same thing, and to see like where you are compared to where you were, like just how you dealt with certain things. Like it's I love hearing how people think, and everything's a choice in life. So how you choose to like move forward or deal with certain things, like your perspective on things, that everybody has a different perspective. So I would love to hear it on a later time of just interviewing you.
That's gonna go deep. I'll be having tears coming up.
Right.
But actually, with that, I will have a separate episode with just me, Arthur, and Glenn.
That's awesome.
To go through what they went through, because how they were saying, they were like on how we grew up. They were like, there is nobody that should go through that.
Yeah.
Like, we had cops, we had SWAT team, like helicopter. I'm like, and you had something that went underground. I'm like, and of course, me being so young, I was like, oh, this is fun. That's a helicopter. Let's go play games. They're like, hey, we have like a few people out the back door going. I'm like, that's me, But I didn't. I didn't know. Yeah. So for you, having them around, having certain whoever around you is a huge deal.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, another part of it is, even as kids, when like other kids are struggling, and like if you could make your home feel like home and like family because your brothers came over, like it's just like a family, and it's like your mom and my mom were friends, like, and to me that was everything, especially being a mom now. Like, I can respect so many decisions whether I agreed with them or not, just feeling those same feelings and personally making different decisions. But I also understand how they would do that, because before you experience it, you don't understand, and you're just like, why would you do that? Like, why would you do that? Like, that does not make sense as a parent. But when you start feeling the emotions of like, just patience or irritability or anything like that, when and setting up, I mean, every parent is different, so it depends on how deep you want to go into what type of parenting you want to do. For me, I try to dive in as deep as I can to like eliminate any kind of negative, feelings or emotions in my daughter's like future. So I'm just more aware of it. And I do a lot of research on it to see like, oh, this happened, and like I research stuff 24/7. That's just who I am as a person. I think it really, like, I research anything and everything. I don't get enough sleep because things will drive me crazy at night, and I'll just think, like, this situation happened today, and like, how did I react? Did I react correctly? And like, how did she feel with my reaction, whether it be a positive or a negative one, So it's like, I'm either going to switch what I was doing or continue it depending on like, that thought process. So I think it's really interesting to hear people's perspective who had the same childhood, because it's so different. My perspective is different than my brother's perspective. We're different anatomies in general, so like, we just feel differently, but and age-wise, it's all different. Like you said, your brothers are younger. They're my little brother's age, so it's like how they perceive things is probably way different than you did. So that's why it would be really interesting to see you guys go on that journey. Yeah,
and you, like how you were saying. So right now, I'm not gonna say names because hopefully you're gonna be on here and you can kind of share how you kind of see things. But for how I see you guys, so you have one that's older. He's kind of like, I'm big and bad, which is awesome. He's a big guy. I don't know.
Yeah.
He's probably like I don't know.
He's like 6'3", 6'4", I don't even know. But
he's like
the thing is about him, I think people who have a reserved personality get that stereotype of trying to be bigger or better. He's naturally just a big dude, like he's intimidating looking, and he's quiet if you don't know him. So I could see how people would perceive him that way, but I don't know what you were gonna say about him, but I think that has a lot to do with it. You know, just being a
Yes.
reserved person until you know him, then it's like, you know.
So don't assume.
Yeah.
You know, he's bigger,
exactly.
he has sleeves and you tattoos, all that kind of, you know. But you don't know a person until you actually talk to them.
Mhm.
You know, because I've met big people either like at the gym or whatever, or wherever. And they're like, hey, how's it going? I'm like, I did not expect that. I was like off guard. I was like stunned. I'm like, I thought you'd be like, wait, I'm
Yeah.
gonna snap your neck. Ooh, you're
Yeah.
gonna eat me. I'm like, what? Yes, but high five. But you don't know
Yeah.
who you're about to meet, and like, and of course, being around people who are awesome, you know who they know,
Yeah.
and then you just kind of you kind of branch out, and then but of course you'll only hold like a group
Yeah.
of main people
Mhm.
you speak to, you know, because your other brother I speak to almost every day.
Yeah.
You know, hey, how's it going? You know, you don't always have to be like, hey, I need something.
Yeah.
Like, no, I just want to say hi.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
Yeah.
You know, because for those people who are like, hey, I need this, and this, I'm like, okay, at what point are you not trying to need anything from me and just say how I'm doing?
Yeah.
Which I'm not sure how you feel on that subject.
Well, you know, I think that your true friends, I mean, I could go a year from talking to some of my true friends and like, it's never like I need anything conversation. You could literally pick up where you left off, like, you know, just say hello, like you were saying, you know, just how are things going? I mean, you run into people at different phases of your life as well, which I believe is for a reason. You know, there's been friends in my life that I lost touch with for, you know, months to a year, whatever the case may be. And then you see them again, and it's like, you know, you're put in their life for a certain reason, and they're put in yours for a certain reason at that moment, you know, and having that gap of time, it's like, wow, like, what have you gone through in that length of time, you know? So it's like, there's different levels of friendship. I think people who come to you and, like, constantly need stuff, I think it's a lot deeper than that. I think they trust you enough to actually ask you for something, and I'm not talking about like if there's somebody who's like, I don't know, on drugs or something where they're just like, I need money or something crazy like that, but that's a whole separate issue because they really are struggling with something deeper that's putting them in that position. But people are not, for the most part, from my experience, like, they go to people they trust, you know what I mean? So even if they are those type of people, I don't necessarily view it as a negative thing. I think it's more of like, you need to have deeper conversations with them and maybe figure out why they feel comfortable coming to you, or just, you know, thank you for coming to me and like feeling that way. Like, let's try to figure out a way to resolve this without me like giving you something, but more of like helping you get it yourself. Like, I don't know, if you truly care about somebody as a friend, whether, you know, it's always nice if somebody can just call you up and be like, hey, how's it going? You can bullshit together, whatever it is, like, that's great. But I think the people who are, you know, needing other things, like, it's a lot deeper than just, I need this, you know what I mean? So I think that's more of an opportunity to help them, you know, on like a deeper level.
We're done. No, I'm kidding. Wow, yeah, that's some knowledge and wisdom all in one.
Right.
So from how you grew up, how did that go into being an adult? Being like, oh, I'm out of the house, or you have your own car, you got bills, and then up the line, having a child. But we're gonna jump into that.
I mean, all of it leads up to every aspect of it, I would say. So my dad works, my mom stayed at home, took care of the kids, which I think is amazing to be able to do that. There's pros and cons to both sides. I've kind of done both myself as being a parent, but you know, you're kind of like frowned upon either way if you're a working mom or if you're a stay-at-home mom, depending on who wants to judge you and their insecurities.
Oof.
So And it's very true. Like I said, I've been on both ends of it. The first like year and a half of my daughter's life, I was fortunate enough to, live with family and support myself in that way. And really spend the time that I wanted to with like an infant daughter, raising her on my own. But now I work full time and I love it as well. I've, from childhood to adulthood, I started working when I was 15. I had 2 jobs when I was like 16 or 17. And then I literally had 2 jobs until I had my daughter. And it's not because, I necessarily needed it. I was just always independent and I like to have my own things. I like to have my own place. I have like a quality of life that I like to uphold. So to do that financially and support myself, the decision was easy for me to work 2 jobs. Plus, I feel like before you have kids, I mean, why not? Like, I enjoy working. I'm like a happy, like, workaholic. Less now because I work full time and I have my daughter full time. So it's a little bit different. It is like 2 jobs in itself. But,
6 jobs.
It really is. Yeah, it's never ending, which is good. Pros and cons. But, yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. Like, my childhood, you see a stay-at-home mom's perspective because I grew up with it, and like, we're fortunate enough that my dad made like a good living to where, but like, I don't know, I just always wanted things for myself. And like, I just have never had to rely on anybody, thankfully, and I'm like it's made me a stronger person by not having that kind of like crutch or anything like that, which is not necessarily a crutch because raising kids is way harder than going to work. I could definitely tell you that, just mentally. It's very difficult.
Girl.
So.
The one.
Yeah.
Well, and at the same time, she's like,
yeah.
This podcast interview thing, she was shaking. I'm like, go.
Yeah.
Go.
It's just water, but.
it's got food coloring.
Right.
No.
But yeah, I mean, I think everything really truly, in my opinion, happens for a reason. I think you go, like, people look at my situation of being an only parent and they, like, try to give me sympathy, but I don't think it's, like, a sympathetic situation. I know nothing different than what I've been doing, and I love it. Like, there's obviously challenges. There's, like, I couldn't imagine having 2 parents and different things that I would have to deal with in a negative and positive way. So for me, it's, it's what I know. It's routine. It's like anything, I'm able to provide for my daughter and, give her a good life. So for me, it's not like, it pushes me to constantly want to be a better person and like do everything in my power to like continue bettering myself, mental status, financials, just, you want your kids to view you like how you would want your kids to view you, and that's really what it is. Like, the decisions that I make, she sees. And like, for me, I'm wanting to set her up 100% to be successful. And it is my duty as a parent to do that, like mentally, physically, financially, like anything that I can do, which everybody has the opportunity to do. You have to put in the work, but it's worth it, and you have to choose what is worth it to you. Like, my sacrifices are way worth the benefits for her future and, her like current day. So
wow.
Yeah, there's things that you consider, and parenting is crazy. Your mindset is so different. Like, the moment you have them, it's insane.
Yeah, that's awesome. And here's the thing. You don't have to be a certain age to be like, this is going to sound bad, I know more than the older person. It's not like that. It's you had to grow up faster.
Yep.
I would say more on, let's see how you kind of think about doing certain work. Because I remember we were talking and you were like, hey, if I, being you and having her as well, you were saying something like, hey, I'm like, go. If you had 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 that option to have job and still take care of the kid, you would. And I was like, how does that even make sense? Like, you know, how you were saying, you know, you want to live a certain way, so you have to do a certain thing.
Yep.
Which that's a lot, and so there's a lot of
you adapt.
Yeah.
That's literally what it is. You adapt.
Uh-huh.
So I work a full-time job, which is remote, and literally the biggest blessing like, God gives you struggles and he gives you blessings for your situation. So, like, I was very fortunate in, the career path that I'm on right now, because it just, worked out at a perfect time, perfect job, like working remotely, very easy to navigate with my daughter. I could take her to school. I could take her, to her doctor's appointments and still work full time.
Mm-hmm.
I could work at night if I want to. I could, I base it to business hours when, she's being watched by either my parents or in school. And then, anything that I need to do, like, within those hours, I could do at night. But, yeah, I mean, I think I'll never stop looking for more and doing more while I'm working, having her, and, I just naturally can't sleep a normal schedule. So the times that I'm up late or up at 5 o'clock in the morning, like, I'm working on other things to just continue to grow. So, like, I was telling one of my friends the other day, I don't care if I have 100 ideas and just one works out, that one worked out, know? And it leads you down different paths. So, like, even talking to you about just little things where it's like it leads into something else. Like, the more you seek knowledge in multiple things, might feel scattered, but at the end of the day, you're learning so much, because there's so much that you don't know. There's businesses you don't know. There's literally everything, like even the office space. There's offices that you can rent to literally do your work with Wi-Fi, everything, for a couple $100 a month. And, like, most people don't know about that. And would that drive your business? Probably, being in a controlled environment.
Yes.
Some people who are forced to work at home do not strive working remotely because it's distracting. Easily, like, everybody gets distracted. Some people thrive in, like, an office environment, and that is, that's there for them. But it's like, you have to just constantly seek different things, try to go down different paths to, like, really figure out, like, you learn a lot about yourself and, just different places that you go with it.
So with that, I know a lot of people out there who are like, oh, it's hard, or it's me. It's so, like, what kind of...
That's life.
Advice.
That's life. Yeah, it's life. I think God only gives you what you can handle, and if you're struggling, that gives you strength. You have to really, like, you're not going to grow if you're in your comfort zone. You meet people who have been in the same, place their whole life. They're doing the same thing, and they will continue to do the same thing for their entire life, because they're in that mindset of, everything's hard in life. There's nothing that's easy. Even going to work every single day, like, I'm sure anybody would just want to be rich and not have to work, but it doesn't make you a better person being that way. You see a lot of people who are actually the opposite. They're worse people because they're given that, So it's like, I think truly appreciating, like, what you were given, even if it's a struggle, you will see the light at some point.
Yes.
So, I think just holding that mindset of just being grateful and, like, I am religious, and, like, giving it to God is huge. I think when you're at your lowest point, that's when you see change. But you also have to put in the work, So it's like, you can be stuck in a situation, you can, feel terrible about yourself, but it's a choice. And, like, there's resources to get out of anything, but you have to seek them, and you have to want it, and you have to put in the work, So it's
action.
easy to get stuck. Yeah.
Take action.
Exactly. Like, you think you have a rough life, there's thousands of people who have it worse and overcome it because the way they perceive things and the things they want in life. I mean, you have to go for what you want. You grow from being uncomfortable. I put myself in uncomfortable positions all the time on purpose because I know I'm going to grow from it. I moved to places in the past, like I would, move. I lived in Palm Springs for 4 years. I didn't know anybody. I knew one person, and that didn't work out, which is great. I still stayed there because I built a life there, and like I made relationships, connections, I grounded myself there, and it wasn't easy, And then I moved to San Diego again, just knowing my cousin, but still it's, you start a new job, you're living in a new place, it's expensive, everything's difficult, but you overcome those things. It was never easy. You just do it, because if you want something, you can make it happen.
Yeah.
You just gotta make it happen, you could do anything you want.
If you take action.
If you take action, yeah, but feeling down, struggling, things are hard. They definitely are, but figuring out how to overcome it is what makes you stronger and gets you to the next step of what you're really trying to achieve, And people always say, set your goals high, set your goals high. Like, set them higher than you think you can achieve and get there, Because you can.
Yeah.
You could literally do anything.
Within reason.
Not really.
Well,
Depends.
No, it's like being super short and you're playing in the NBA. Like certain things, yes, there are certain people because of the
athletic abilities.
If
you're like, I want to be an NBA star, and it's like me, like it's not gonna happen. Like I'm a girl, I'm 5'7".
Well, they have
the WNBA.
Yeah.
I know, but it's different. I'm just saying, if we're talking about unrealistic things, something like that is very obviously unrealistic. But if you wanted to be in that environment, you can choose a career path to be incorporated in the NBA. So what do you really want to do? And that is actually more long-term than being an athlete.
To be around because it's going to be
so just think about what you really want to do, why would you want to be a basketball player? What is enticing about that? Is it being in the environment? Because you could be in the environment without playing the game.
And you're still doing good.
Exactly.
So it's like how I was kind of exactly what you were saying. If you go ask somebody who is in that field, not just one person, because they could be like, oh, I didn't like it, and then you ask somebody, oh, this is awesome. So ask those people who have been on that path. I would say the path, and to just kind of see how they live, how they are they stressed out, are they this, and is it worth it? Is the price worth the prize? Right, or
is that what you really want to do? Just like you said, put yourself in the environments that you want to be in and talk to many people, put yourself out there. You might get into a conversation with somebody that maybe had the same mindset as you and they got into it in a different field because it worked because of, whatever reason. Definitely putting yourself out there, and that's another one of the uncomfortable things that you should be doing in life, is having difficult conversations and stepping outside your box, your comfort zone. It's worth it.
Yeah, for me, I do that every day. Because I have a speech problem. I'm sure, as you guys already know, it's for people who know me. They're like, bro, are you all right? Or actually for people...
No, we finish your sentences.
Yes, which helps. So for the people who do have, a problem with speech, it does help. In some cases, we're like, no, I wanted to say that. I want to feel cool. I'm like, bro, you were having a heart attack over there.
Yeah.
Which I'm trying to, not get over it, because I don't think I can get over it. I can get through it. Find ways to talk, because in our society, speech is huge. Hence, you can do work from home. I could too if I went on it and went deep into it. But just me just me being out and about, me speaking to whoever to be on this, which is super cool. Which again, it's awesome to do this. But on that subject, what advice do you have for people who don't know people like me who have I would say like I can't speak well.
Like a speech impediment?
Yes. For you being outside to know somebody like me, or it's just new, advice for people who can speak perfectly fine, but yet see us as, or like, just see us as we're like, oh, hey, how's it going? And then we don't speak perfect, because I've had some people feel, I would try and say, hey, it's over here, or I would try and say something or whatever, and I'd get blocked or whatever. And I get smirks, I get looks, I get laughs. They're like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, everything. Trust me, this is life. But at the same time, I know this is probably too much, but I would go and ask them why. They're like, oh, well, you haven't. I'm okay. I'm like, so? What does that have to do? I'm speaking fine now. What's like, I just kind of see they aren't aware of it. And of course, up to a point, I will snap back and be like, so it's the same thing as you're trying to tell somebody to go for a run and they don't have legs on right now. I could somewhat say that because my mom, she got hurt really bad, and
she lost one of her legs.
She did that. See, I was trying to say that. Awesome. So with that, I can kind of somewhat say it, but at the same time, it's hard, and for her, for what she did, she can practically outwork anyone. But we can hit that into a different story, kind of where I kind of see things. I'm like, okay, she had one leg, but she's doing so much, and it was crazy. But yes, let's go back to how you would kind of see me or see somebody that has a speech problem, and just kind of what you do, so to help all the people out there.
For me, with you, I don't really see it, probably because I've been around you for so long that, it doesn't, I literally don't even pay attention to it, honestly, but, again, I'm just the type of person who's very aware of different situations. I have people in my life that are, very open to speech impediments, or, my best friend's a behavioral specialist for kids on the spectrum. So, I just naturally know different ways to deal with situations, and I'm not naive to everybody being, having things about them that are different. I could have a better conversation with you than I could have with somebody who doesn't have a speech impediment.
Yeah.
So, I think it's great for you to, bring awareness to how much you can achieve and, just do even, I don't view it as a negative thing. So I wouldn't even say it's anything that would ever hold you back in life. I think people who respond to you in any kind of way besides a normal conversation, they're probably just those type of people. And it says a lot about them on how they treat people in general. It's probably not just you. It's probably anybody who has anything going on at all, which they probably have. So I think it's just, in life, you have to be open-minded. You have to, everybody's different in their own way. So, I don't know. It doesn't really, it's nothing for me.
Yeah.
I don't see it as anything different from talking to anybody else, personally. But putting yourself out there, and if it's, something that you've had to deal with, I haven't had to deal with it, other people deal with it. So hearing your perspective is it's motivating, and you're literally doing a podcast where you talk to people. So again, putting yourself in situations to grow is, the best thing you can do, and bring awareness, because there's probably people struggling with it, and they're like,
it's only me.
I have anxiety when I start to stutter. You have to change your way of thinking, and realize it's just part of your personality, and everybody has personality quirks, traits, everything that, like I said, I could have a better conversation with you with stuttering or not, and then I could have with this other person who has no speech impediment. So I don't,
Yeah. So I guess, I'm just trying to, I guess, bring that awareness.
Yeah.
Because it's not seen as much.
Yeah.
And
take a public speaking class, go run seminars. Like, I would love to see that, and I would love to challenge you to do that. Well, based upon your speech impediment.
Oh, yes. So if there are some people out there who would like that, for people who start or don't, or who are in that field or whatever, cool.
Or if anybody could reach out if they are dealing with the same thing and like just have a conversation on both of your experiences and your thought processes, like that would be great. And I think that's the point of, like, again, God gives you these things to use them.
Moses.
Whether you think it's a bad thing or not, like it's use everything you're gifted with in a positive way, because any situation, people could say me being a single mom is like a negative thing, but bringing awareness and support and, it is a positive thing at the end of the day if you can help somebody else who's going through the same situation. So I think it's more of like a gift that you should use, that you can use, that you do use. Just moving forward and in your everyday life, like it's motivating for me to see and like, like it's never stopped you from doing anything. So.
No, I'm kidding. So, yes.
And when he's mad, he doesn't stutter. So just throw that out there.
A little bit. So, yeah, with that, of course, I have to have or do certain things to go around, but it's all up top for sure. And, I have my days, but here's the thing. I was closed off to thinking, for like whoever out there who can talk perfectly fine, and I'm like, and you're not doing well, what is wrong with you? But with that, I was closed. I'm like, hey, you can talk, you can go talk, you can call people, you can, because me on the phone, you can do a lot, but at the same time, I was like, I'm not sure what their life is, what they are going through. If they're stressed, they're depressed, if you're being beat or, XYZ, I didn't see that part because for me, I'm simple. I don't care. I'm like, there's too much stuff in here, let's throw it away. No, it means so much. I'm like, you haven't used it in 2 years. It's locked away. Which I get. I had to open up. I had to step back and see things. Hence why I'm with her. I want to know what she knows. And a lot of people out there are like, well, she's got that drive. Let's go. I don't care. I'm a single parent. All this kind of stuff. So let's go into how you date and how you see that.
Dating is weird, but
so
it's different. It's different once you have a child.
Yes. How do you see it now compared to how it was? Because how I seen you and your friends, you were like, let's go out and party, let's get effed up, let's do this.
Like high school-ish.
Yeah, I'm not sure what was done. That's not my business. But I just wanted to hear your mindset.
Innocent partying.
Innocent partying? What? How does that make sense?
I mean, if you're putting it in a category with dating, it's completely separate.
Yes.
Because when we went out to party, it was never about like meeting guys or anything like that. It was literally just going out for fun.
Okay.
Drinking heavily.
See, I didn't
and
know.
like having a good time with your friends. Like it was nothing more than that, and it was
Okay.
like the best experience. Other people have different experiences that may be geared around like needing that physical connection. We were just young, having fun. Like did not take that path, which is great.
Okay.
So that's completely separate. I feel like from dating in general, dating before having a kid is obviously easier. You have more flexibility.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you literally can do anything you want in life. Like you're committed to like taking care of yourself financially. You have the time to go to the gym or go grocery shopping, do everything you want to do, which you can do with the kid, but like incorporating dating on top of that, again, it's your priority and what you want to provide to your child. Me personally, I don't allow a lot of my time to go elsewhere unless it's truly worth it to me, which takes a lot, and it's not very often. So yeah, dating with a young child is challenging. Because I'm not willing to give up my time, even tucking her into bed, giving bath time. Like, I'm not willing to sacrifice those little moments for something that's not guaranteed, because that is. And, I also don't think it's bad to, go on a date and try to find your person, because ultimately it would be amazing to find your person and not have to date, because it's, it's not easy. It's kind of cool meeting people though of different walks of life, and there obviously a lot of them are single parents as well, so like just kind of hearing their story, how they perceive things, how they explain their situation is big too, because that tells a lot about a person. But it's cool, you get to meet people, and like I have had very few bad experiences. I feel like if anything, I just, met somebody who maybe shed a little bit of light on something that I didn't know, no matter what it is. I don't really know, but I have taken something from each experience that I've had as far as dating, which hasn't been a lot, but, I have met good people, and like, you have to keep a positive mindset, and hopefully one day it's like just your person,
Yeah,
But it's a lot
great.
different, and it's whatever your priority is. There's people who are single parents. Most people have two parents, so you get like 50-50 custody. So you're not taking away any time from your children because you just have that time to yourself. I don't have that because I have her 24/7. There's 100% custody, so it's different. So it's just, a little bit more challenging for me, and like not wanting to sacrifice the goals I have set for myself and my daughter. So... But ultimately, I mean, it would be great to find my person. It's just, it'll happen when it's meant to happen. And until then, it's a learning experience.
So how do you date? Like, who do you look for? Like, what are your... So earlier, she was saying some stuff about, certain people. So, like, height.
It's not necessarily a type with height. I'm tall. So, like, just naturally you feel more comfortable, or like, just safer with somebody who's bigger than you, and you don't want to feel bigger than your partner. Like, I feel like that's an awkward feeling.
In her opinion, so I'm sure.
In my opinion,
I've seen,
Yeah, and I think it's amazing. Like, I 100% am about personality. I have dated guys that are 6'6", that are the biggest, hottest messes you'll ever meet in your life. And I've dated people who are, 5'10", 5'11" on a rare occasion.
So how tall are you? 5...
I think I'm 5'8", but I've been rocking 5'7" my whole life.
I got the heels, huh? What's up?
Yeah, and I do like wearing heels because, like, you want to look cute, So it's never about, like, that's not a strict requirement of mine. It's more about the connection. Okay. There's everybody that I have dated in my past has been different. They all have different careers, different, like, they all look different heights, like, stuff like that. Two of my longest relationships were actually like 5'10", 5'11", so it's definitely not a height thing. It's 100% a connection thing. So yeah, I think it's really difficult to actually experience that connection because there's a lot of life. I mean, there's a lot of life that happens to people, and like, when you have a kid, you're way more picky about who you date because do I want this person around my children? I see how they raise their children. Is that something that I can see myself doing with my child? Like, you become very, very picky, which is a good thing, but it's also, more difficult, because I don't accept anything less than like what I want to see myself with or my daughter.
So you want people at your level
or higher.
The expectations.
Yep.
Practically.
Yep.
Right, which is...
Dating these days is also very different because it's a very temporary thing for people. So it's just one of those, with social media and everything, everybody I don't know.
You're like
It's just
swipe left, right? I think, is that how it goes?
right or
Oh,
left.
right or left.
Yeah, if you're online dating. But yeah, it's an interesting like day and age to date. But I also believe when the right person comes in your life, I mean, it could be then or it could be at the grocery store. Whatever's meant for you is there. But again, even online dating, you talk to people and like you learn things. You learn things about yourself, what you like, what you don't like. Like, oh, I've never came across that question before, or like, why would you say that? Like, it made me feel a certain way, but why do I feel that way about it? You know what I mean? Like, you question a lot more, but it's whatever you want to take out of life. You know what I mean? Like, I try not to view anything as a negative and just look at the positive aspect of it, because everything is a positive thing. If it's negative, you're learning from it. That makes it positive. You know what I mean? Like, it's really just changing your mindset to what type of life you want, you know? So,
huge.
That's my take on dating.
For you being a lady, is it easier for you to date if you were to go? Actually,
No.
I want to come back. Is it easier to get approached rather than you trying to go like a man or a girl? You know, you
see him in the grocery store and
be
there's like
whatever.
no wedding ring and you're like, oh, are you single type of thing?
Yeah.
I think it just depends on like your confidence level and conversation and kind of what you're going for. I mean, if you see somebody that like you're just like I need to talk to this person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You could literally think of anything to talk to them. I'm a pretty social person. I'm like both. I'm reserved when I first meet somebody, but I'm also like, I bartended for 8 years. So like, I naturally know how to, you know, start conversations with people I don't know. So I'm pretty comfortable in that aspect, but I feel like people are just so afraid to like jump into a conversation with people they don't know, but it's not a bad thing to do that. So I don't know if it's like a male or female thing. I think it's just a personal thing. I don't think it's one way or the other, because, you know, you meet people who are shy on both sides of it. So I think it's just some people just go for it and some people don't. Like, you know.
So are you the one to go after the guy or girl, but you're just dudes? Or...
I mean, yeah, just guys.
She's like,
wait, what? No, I mean, I've been on both sides of it. Like, I've conversated with people like of interest, and I've, you know, been too shy in other moments, you know?
Yeah.
So I just like a fun fact.
Fun fact.
I was at Target yesterday.
Oh,
and
recent.
I'm at Target like every day, but like this is just yesterday. And there was a guy in the store, and I recognized him off TikTok, and I used to follow him on like Instagram, but like I could not even speak to him because he's like the most like I wish I could, but that confidence level I do not have. Plus my daughter was there, and like you know, that plays a big part too. Obviously I would never just approach a guy with like my kid in the cart and all that fun stuff. So maybe if I was by myself it would be different, but like, you know, in other instances, if I was by myself, maybe I would say something. I don't know. Yeah. But
so I would say, well, like for her, it goes both ways. You have someone who looks really good, and then, you know, she sees somebody who that person isn't like, oh, I look good this day or whatever. It goes both ways. Yeah. But I asked that, you know, for us men who aren't, I guess, up to par, who are shy or, you know, whatever.
You gotta put yourself out there.
Who has a speech problem. Yeah, cool, right? But it's all how you see it.
Oh, you got a wife, though. You're already, I mean, apparently you didn't stop nothing from nothing and you put yourself out there.
Actually, I got her a long time ago on MySpace.
Dang, MySpace.
Old school. Okay.
That was a long time ago. You guys have been together for a long time.
So, with that person, let's say you guys date, couple dates. How do you kind of be like, oh, this is a person I might see, you know, like in the future and all that stuff. Like
it's just there's so many factors, you know, like
hobbies and all that kind of stuff go into one.
Number one, there's no other date if there's no connection. Like you meet that in one day, or like literally within moments, you know if you're gonna like connect with that person.
So
really.
Is that off of how you look?
No, it's a feel. That's how you feel. You know, like it's literally how you guys look at each other.
So hold on. I'm gonna go. Do not go out and feel people.
Yeah, don't
like,
do that.
oh, you have awesome skin. Don't
Definitely
do that.
don't do that.
You'll get punched, probably slapped, sprayed in the face.
Depending on the person.
Shot, maybe. Ooh.
In my house, for sure.
Good. Strapped up.
But yeah.
And that we will hop into in a bit about self protection and awareness and stuff. All right, cool. How to date people.
Yeah, I mean, it's just dating, you know, like
just dating.
There's things that come up. I mean, I've talked to people. I've gone on 5 dates with somebody, and it obviously didn't work out.
Yeah.
But it's because, you know, some aspects, like, people aren't just like upfront about their entire life. That would be a turnoff as well if they laid out everything about them, you know, whether it's good or bad. It's just like, why are you oversharing, you know?
Yeah.
Which some people do, and it's fine, but it just depends on if that's something that you're into. Like, it's all connection. Connection fades. Connection gets stronger. Like, it's nature. So, you know, if it doesn't work out, it's not your person for whatever reason.
So, for you to see men, right? I'm sure up to a point they have to be well groomed, right?
Depends on what you're into. Me
Like
personally,
the nails,
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's certain
nails.
things that people look at. I mean, there's certain things that guys look at on girls.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That are a big deal to some people, not to others. So I think everybody's just different in that aspect.
Okay.
I'm a hygienic person, so like
you're clean or good.
Yeah.
If not, you're gross. It's kind
Well, not only that, it's like when you're going on a date with somebody, if they're just showing up like frumpy, do they care to impress you? Do they really care to like hook you? You know what I mean? Like, I think when you're going out with somebody, you should want to feel your best for yourself, but also like for the person that you're with, because why would you not? You know, like, to me, it's important to, you know, like, obviously when you get to know somebody, you'll, you know, be able to be in your pajamas or, you know, no makeup or just, you know, whatever life is. That's obviously a comfortability thing, which is great as well. But I think when you're dating, you should, you know, feel your best for yourself, and naturally you're gonna, you know, it's good for the other person as well. And you're trying to, I want to feel good for somebody, you know?
Yeah, that's key. And like,
yeah,
for us men, there's certain things, of course. You have the top, the bottom, and then all in one. I know this is kind of off subject, and so on this certain one, her being, I would say, open about it. I just want to make sure it's okay with her to talk about
implants?
Yeah. Yeah, implants, because there are some people who are for it but not for it. Like, oh, you're a lady, you're supposed to have boobs because if you have kids, all that kind of stuff, all you know, that stuff is kind of.
I think it's
like
it's a personal choice. So, you know, I've had them for
you
14 years. Okay. Almost 14 years. So when I got him, I just
14 years.
It would make me.
It went by that quick.
Yeah.
I've.
Yeah.
But known her for a while.
Yeah.
I was.
Yeah. I got him done the day my nephew was born, and he's.
Oh, that's. Hey, nephew.
Did not plan. I mean, he didn't come on his due date. Like, I had the surgery planned for months. But yeah, I mean, I've never met anybody who like had an issue with it, and I think maybe a certain type of individual like goes for me maybe because of that. They're like, you're into certain things, you know what I mean? So it's like maybe that's something that they're into, not even knowing if they're fake or real, just in general, you know. People have different types, so I think there's a lot. There's a lot. I mean, there's a lot around implants, just safety wise, like how I have them now. Would I feel differently? It's been fine the whole time I've had them. Do I still enjoy them or like enjoy having them? Would I make that decision today that I made 14 years ago? No. Just because there's just a lot of stuff because of it, you know, like,
Okay.
I mean, just body image wise for yourself, like, I'm very comfortable with myself, so,
Okay.
like, maybe at that time I wasn't, and I am
Oh,
now, and just, I mean, there is a lot of health things that come with implants, like,
Okay.
your back, I naturally have broad shoulders, so it makes
Shredded.
me look even
Yeah.
bigger, they're heavy, like, there's, you know, there's a lot to it, thankfully they're saline, so I'm not worried about any kind of poisoning going on, but there are women who suffer every single day from having something go wrong with their implants, and like they'll discover, I mean, this is another rabbit hole you could jump on, but you know, they're feeling a specific way just health-wise, whether they're nauseous all the time or they have headaches or anything, and it might be an underlying issue of their implant being bad, and it's very common, especially in silicone, any type of chemical. I mean, saline could happen too because it's surrounded or encased by plastic. So when you put stuff in your body, I mean, it's not
That's
supposed
plastic.
to be there. Yeah, it's not supposed to be there. So anybody can suffer from it. I thankfully, up until this point in my life, have not. So yeah, I don't. This is metal right here. But
You're like, where's the wood?
This is wood right here.
This is all fake wood. What the hell?
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'm pretty open about it. I don't really like people have them. Like so many people have them. Other people don't. Like
So okay, this is probably too much. For at certain spots, you're trying to be like, hey man, like look at me. Is that kind of something that there's a lot of women out there like go for? They're like, hey, boobs. There's a lot of men look at boobs and they're gonna get hooked. Is that kind of something you're like, what's up? You know? Like,
no, I'm personally not like that. I more try to hide them because they're like larger. I wear shirts like this where I don't like
yeah,
to...
I was like, do not wear something revealing.
No,
Come on,
he's
that's for
lying. He
everyone.
didn't say that. But I will say it's inevitable to look like you're flaunting. I could wear a tank top and this other girl could be wearing a tank top who has smaller breasts, and I look like I'm trying to like make an impression of some sort when I'm wearing the same exact shirt because I want to wear a tank top. You know what I mean? Like, unless you're literally wearing a turtleneck, they're just
like,
instantly gonna look like that, you know? And like, back in the day when I got them, you know, like, it made me feel more comfortable with myself, the way my body was proportioned and everything. Now I don't really care to have them.
Okay.
But I personally, I mean, girls flaunt them all the time.
Yeah.
I probably did back in the day. Definitely did.
All right, what's up?
And they're like right in a bathing suit. Like, I'm not complaining, but you know, at this point in my life, it's not something that like I don't want to be with somebody who solely, you know, is like attracted to that. I'm more into people's minds and like how they treat me and stuff than you know, how I look is not as important, and I'm, you know, just comfortable. So.
Yeah, that's huge. You know, because us men, we see people wherever, like at the gym, right? Just stuff's just. We're like, bro, I can see everything. What are you doing? You can't not look up to a point. You're like, okay, seen it. It's like I need
like
to.
Almost shocking.
Yeah,
like,
you're like, why are you wearing that? I can see your stuff.
And it's probably unintentional.
Wait, it's what?
Unintentional. Yeah. Because if they're just wearing a tank top, I want to wear a tank top and not sweat, you know, like in a t-shirt and everything. Why should I change the way that I feel comfortable working out?
I'm being humbled right now.
Yeah, the way that I want to work out because I'm fucking hot, like physically hot, you know what I mean? Where it's like, I'm not working out in this shirt. I want to work out in a tank top, and I'm sorry that you feel like it's, you know, like on purpose, but it's really not just because I'm wearing a tank top like she's wearing a tank top, but she has a smaller chest. You know, like it is what it is. Or shorts, you know, like some girls have smaller booties and it doesn't look as revealing as somebody who would wear the same exact shorts, but they want to be comfortable. I want to be comfortable wearing what I want to wear just
Woman
like
power.
she is. Yeah, so it's like, I mean, there is definitely girls who intentionally do it 100%, and that's fine because maybe that's how they gain their confidence, or you know, like it's something maybe that they're struggling with where they need that attention, so it might be again deeper than what you see. It's not just, you know, she wants all this attention, like what is she lacking to need that attention? Or maybe she's just comfortable and she's like, I worked hard for this body and like I'm gonna work out the way I want to work out, you know? Like I see that all the time, and I love seeing girls like that who are super confident, worked very hard. It's difficult, you know?
Alright, so now about being fit or active, you know, on that, because for me, well, actually, for her and whoever, I would say we're around, we're like super active.
Yeah.
And I just want to
Yeah,
hear your thoughts about that.
I mean, being active plays so many roles in, you know, like your mental status, just prioritizing yourself, being a better person, being a healthier person. I'm the type of person who's always striving to be healthier. I love physical activity. I love being outdoors. I just naturally am that type of person, but also, you know, I want to be in great shape to take care of my daughter appropriately, and it is like a mental thing. When you feel good physically, you eat good, your children see what you're eating, they see the things that you're doing, it's very encouraging to them to do the same thing. So I think physical activity is like huge. I am like an anti, like as much as possible, like medication type of person as well, which is also another level of health. You know, I very rarely take medication because I think everything's just poison. That's just me personally. So, you know, taking vitamins and like herbal type things I would rather do than take a medication if needed. I mean, I think the less you take medication, the less you need it as well. You build a stronger immune system. But yeah, I mean, there's a million things about health. I've, you know, taken nutrition classes. I've taken classes that pertain to nutrition, like where your food comes from. There's so much that you probably don't know you're consuming, even if you think you're eating healthy. It's very difficult in this day and age to completely eat, you know, the way that you want, because you don't know where your food is coming from. So I think researching on that is super helpful too. Watch the documentaries, look at where your food come from, you know, like you have to shop within your means, so that's, you know, part of it as well. But yeah, I think maintaining being active and, you know, just healthy in general is, you know, a good thing.
And I would say, or like, you know, just it don't matter if you're super active and going out and about, going for a hike or whatever, you can just go outside for a walk.
Or walking, yeah. It's good for your mental status, like 100%.
Yeah. And then how about either beer or alcohol or even, you know, hard stuff? How do you see that?
I see it as a chemical as well. You know, I've spent a lot of years enjoying myself as far as like beer. Like I love the taste of beer, alcohol, wine, all that good stuff. But you know, I made a decision. Yeah, go ahead.
Let me smell this.
It smells like chapstick.
Yeah, let me not. Okay, it's water.
It's water.
That's making sure.
Yeah.
Oh, she's like, don't do it, but you have some wine right here.
But, you know, I stopped drinking almost a year and a half ago, completely cold turkey, for multiple reasons. But, you know, I didn't have a problem with drinking. I think when you tell people you stop drinking, they assume like you're an alcoholic or it was affecting your life in a negative way. I did not do it for that reason. I did it for like, you know, seeing family members struggle with it, pass away from it. Being an only parent, I want to be 100% in a sober mindset. Okay. For any given experience, stuff happens. She could be at school and, well, I wouldn't be drinking during the day, but like, you know what I mean? Just in general, or like, you know, staying over with my family. And then, you know, that would be a time where it would be like, oh, I'm going to go have a couple of drinks. Well, what if something happened? Like for me mentally, it's not worth it. If I couldn't drive to that location in a split second. So yeah, it's just something that I've actually really enjoyed. I encourage it, but I also don't look down on people who do drink. I think it's fun, you know, like I enjoy being a designated driver for everybody now.
The DD.
Yeah, the DD. Yeah. I don't know, it gives you like a mental strength in different aspects of your life, that like you don't really have to give in to what society like tells you is normal. And, there are a lot of people who struggle with alcohol. I've seen it in so many people who don't even realize they're doing it, but I've also seen people who know it's affecting their life. So I know it on so many different levels. So I recognize things like that. And, it's an addiction. Like, people, whether you're addicted to it or not, if you can't stop it, there's, it's literally you're putting a chemical in your body to feel different. So there's something that you're trying to not feel like yourself. You know what I mean? Which in social environments, I mean, I get it. I used to love doing it. It's fun. It's nice. Sometimes you want to have a glass of wine at the end of the night to unwind, but like, do you have to? No. Like, I feel perfectly fine unwinding and probably more productive because my mind just continues to go.
Okay.
Even after hours, but it's not for everybody to quit. It's a very big commitment to not do it, but I think it's definitely a positive experience that I've learned from and just enjoyed.
So you're saying you've seen what it could do as in harm wise, and you're like, why do I need that?
I can't preach to anybody to stop drinking if I drink myself. So,
So it's not wine, it's water.
Yeah.
So, again, because
it's not vodka.
I'm pretty sure you people like you have like a lot of people watch us are gonna be like,
Yeah. I mean, there's no reason for me to like lie or fake the funk. I mean, it is what it is. You got to live your life for yourself and like just what makes you feel good and thrive, and there are alcoholics who like have a regular coffee cup and they're drinking alcohol and you would never know it, but like obviously that's a problem, but you know what I mean? Like it's just always stay true to like what you want, like I try to stay true to like striving to be the most productive person I could be, the best person I could be, the best in all my relationships, the best mom I could be, the best person that I could be for myself. Wow. You know what I mean? So whatever you have to do to get there and to improve those relationships. And number one, my life definitely revolves around, my faith in God. And I think it's like something that, I mean, it's life changing when you truly just believe in it, experience it, know, like your faith is strong. And I mean, God literally takes care of everything. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so for the people who aren't so much
religious,
like me, so there are certain things that happened to me, how I think now that certain thing, I'm like, so that happened, why, but like again, I was kind of like shut down, but now I'm more open and to actually to learn from, I guess, certain things in your life that are bad, how she was saying, which is super on point. So
even like in instances like that, I think it's very unique, just human relationships, whether it be your child, your friend, just everything in general. So even when you're questioning yourself, maybe the person who put you in that situation, or like whatever the case may be, they were learning something, or they were tested to make a choice and they made the wrong choice, and maybe years from then they learned from it, at the expense of what you were put through. But like, that's a life experience. It's not just on like one person. There's so many sides to it. But like, it's really hard to, like pinpoint one feeling or whatever, so it's all perspective. It's, like, you can think of a million things that go wrong in a day, but like, you could think of 2 million that went right. So
yeah, that is,
nobody's life is perfect. It's impossible. You would never, hold faith in anything if it just worked out the way it was supposed to, or in your mind,
Yeah.
Like, you get put in situations to be who you are today. Like, you wouldn't be the same person, and maybe you wouldn't help one person that you're going to help on your podcast if you didn't go through those experiences, if you
Yeah.
didn't have a speech impediment, if, you know, like,
Yeah.
whatever is in your mind, which I'm not sure what experience specifically, but I know there's, you know, tough ones where it would be hard to justify, or be like, why did God put me in this situation? But I think, you know, just having faith in, like, a deeper understanding, like, you know, brings clarity.
That's huge. And at the same time, being open, you know, because you have people like me up to a point, I'm like, no, this is how it goes. This is how I've seen it. But I would say, you know, you've heard people like, oh, I've been alive for X amount of years. I'm old, but not me. I'm just saying for people. Oh, I'm old. I'm like, old compared to what? Like life? Because if you kind of think back way, I'm like, you're just a little piece, but it's what you learn and how you, I guess, how you help out whoever that they need help. And, you know, you can't help somebody who is not open to be helped. It's like, oh, go, nope, I'm not going to break through. It's just like, okay, if you want help, open up. You know, but so we're going to go over, I guess, one more important thing, and then we'll be done, because
your girl's gotta work.
We
Got a job.
Yay, responsibility. How do you you being a female to be aware of your surroundings and to know how to fight or to know what to do, you know, because you have people who are just like
naive.
Yeah, they're like
a lot of murder shows.
Yeah, I watched those too. It's very interesting.
Pros and cons. You could get very paranoid, but I think it's a great thing.
Okay.
I think it brings awareness by seeing different things that you probably wouldn't be as aware to.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, 100%, it's scary, you know, like, for sure, me being, like, a single mom, a single person in general, like, you park outside, whether you have a house, apartment, live in the city, like, it's dangerous, it's scary, but it could happen to somebody who, you know, is, like, in a house with their family. I think it's just more about just being aware of your surroundings, knowing, you know, like, being prepared 100%, like, whether it's, you know, having a weapon close by to you, in a safe area if you have children, just stuff like that, but also knowing how to use what you have.
And you seek proper training, because like a lot of people go out and
buy something, they never shoot it, or
so we're talking about firearms.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, this is cool, I have one. Okay, do you know how to take the magazine out? Do you know how to load it if something happens? Because when stuff happens, it goes down. It's
and the
quick.
purpose of having it is to use it.
Yes, if you have to use it.
Yeah, because why else would you own it?
Yeah. Oh, it's cool. Okay.
I mean, shooting is super fun, but you know, ultimately, it's training.
Yeah.
When you go out, even on your own, whether you take a course.
Yeah. Don't even say it.
You know, anything like that. I've literally done a rifle competition with an AR.
He has a girlfriend, alright? He's got a girlfriend, so yes.
I'm not on social media.
Yeah, we have Instagram.
I got hacked. It's not my Instagram anymore. Like,
never mind,
7 months ago.
Oh.
Yeah, I do not have an Instagram. It's not me.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't really have social media. But yeah, I mean, I think, again, getting out of your comfort zone, knowing what you're doing, being prepared for life, being prepared for the worst. Like, you have to, I mean, I'm, like, from the shows that I watch, like, I'm just more aware of, like, I would never think that people can, you know, pay attention to your routine every single day, but some people have a very strict routine. You leave the house at a certain time, you get home at a certain time. Mine is different for, you know, work reasons, but, you know, there's a lot of times I'm coming home at night, pitch black, and I have to park, you know, like a couple minutes down the block.
And it's sketch.
And I have to walk with my sleeping daughter when there's like a field over there. Like, you're very aware. I'm constantly looking around, making sure, like, I don't see anybody. I don't, you know, like, I have like alarms, like a pull alarm on my keychain. I have pepper spray that is in different areas of the house in case I needed it. I have firearms that are in a safe location but are very accessible. I'm a little bit more sensitive because I am here by myself with my daughter. So like I have specific locks on my doors that I lock every night, my slider, things where if they got a deadbolt open, they still couldn't open the door. I think just, whatever makes you feel comfortable as far as, protecting yourself. I have cameras. Like, I think security and safety is super important. I know people who don't even have cameras on their house or any kind of safety measure, and I'm just like mind blown, but like they're comfortable and they're living, so I feel like it's still fine, but it just depends on like how you feel as a person, how comfortable you are if something did happen. But I always want to feel over prepared, so
yeah.
I
And
am.
how you were saying at the same time, not hyper aware, like
I'm not afraid.
it's raining. That was a sound, or
you could drive yourself crazy if you think about what can happen. But like, I think it's just more of just being aware of your surroundings and just noticing things a little bit more. But it's not something that you're gonna not leave the house because of it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's awesome. So we're about to end up
Wrap
here.
it up.
So yeah, I was gonna see if you had, like with you having, like your drive that you do. Is there anything else you want to share to whoever about your what you want to do in life next, like your drive with your kid?
There's a lot of things that I'm working towards that I will continue to work towards. I encourage anybody to always keep trying to do more. Don't settle at any moment because there's so much to life to experience with success or just in your journey of trying to reach your goals or be successful in whatever way you're trying to get to. So I would just, I hope I can come back on this podcast one day and have different information, different experiences, more successes to share, and just a different journey, which is bound to happen because every day is different. And as long as you're constantly striving to be a better person, you're going to be. What you tell yourself, how you talk, like the things, how you talk to people, the people you seek out. I mean, if you do that in an upward path, you're gonna go up. So I think just continue, just striving and pushing through and getting through things, and struggle brings strength. So
ooh, that's a hashtag.
Keep going.
And like with that, how you were saying, you can set things high, like super high, like you're like no, but go after them, and you will hit that point of you might not hit that top point, but you will you'll be like, oh, I'm here. This is awesome. I didn't know I could do that, which I've learned just from here. Just from sitting with you, I'm like, speechless up to a point. Because, I'm like 8 years old. No, oof. I'm
33.
What, you are?
Yeah.
Oh, 2 years older.
2 years older, yeah.
I thought you were,
I know, I look pretty young.
Looking fresh.
It's
all
the health.
Yeah, all the exercise and all the water, right?
Yeah. Take care of yourself.
Yeah.
You only have one body.
Yeah. So with that being said, we are done.
I look forward to even, seeing all the different podcasts, talking, just seeing everybody's viewpoints on different situations. Like, I love what you're doing. I hope you continue doing it. I hope you, bring awareness to more than you ever intended.
Yeah, I hope so too. That's the point.
Yeah, which is inevitable. So, yeah, super excited, super happy to be on here. Thankful.
Yes.
To have the conversation, so
it's awesome. Yeah, because I hear from certain whoever I'm around, right? And I'm like, bro, you have so much knowledge, and you're just like, not holding it in. It's just, I'm just trying to be that platform to have it all out there.
Yeah.
Because again, what she's saying, I'm gonna like
probably learn from like
some
one
notes.
thing.
I'm gonna take notes for sure. And be like, thanks, Christeen. Thanks. yes.
Yeah.
But with that, we are over and out.
Cool.
Thank you so much.
See you next
Yay.
time.